Hey, what's up, guys? I got a request from one of my watchers. I think it's pronounced Aquita or Aquita. He said, "Dude, what was your architectural commentary?" Man, I've been remiss. I had this book for a couple of years. I actually bought this way back. I bought it at the big Barnes and Nobles in Mineola, if you know where that is. Model City, Pyongyang. Okay. Now, right off the bat, let me do a disclaimer. Okay. Uh, I wouldn't want to live in North Korea and be a North Korean. Okay. Although if I was a North Korean and not a German Italian in America, I wouldn't know any better probably. Bottom line is that uh, they're bad in North Korea because the people who've lied to me for decades say they are. Okay. Also, the North Koreans haven't done anything to me. Uh, haven't done nothing to me. They haven't. They're not trying to replace, their people with, with other people. Right. And in a century from now, if there's still humanity on this planet, there's gonna be North Koreans. Okay. Anyway, forward. It's interesting. These architects went to study there, and of course, the whole thing you're gonna have with North Korea is you have a city that is still, okay, it's not a former Soviet republic or something to that degree. China is perhaps a little different. They've really modernized, but you're gonna have still a very, what you would say, throwback socialist, utopian, brutalist sort of architecture, okay, of a country which is actually rather, with the Juchism, it's really a nationalist country. It's funny how these Marxist Leninist countries, when it's for non-European people, they all become nationalists. Right? We could discuss that paradigm, that process, that matrix at some other video. But it's interesting with the writers here. Of course, they're very liberal, left-leaning people, architects. And they wanna kind of go, yeah, I don't like the Stalinist, I don't like Stalinist ideologies, but they're seeing basically a vibrant, still existing socialist architecture, as they say, in real time in this country, this archaic snapshot in time, the early 20th century that you have. Okay, it was interesting, very fair. Oh, the Kims. So it's just, you have the statues, right? It's interesting. They talk about how they're always at night. They're always illuminated, and you see sort of like the whole idea of what? What is the whole idea of the socialist? All socialist things is the planning. Everything is planned, right? The economy is planned. The different plans, the 5-year plans, the architecture, the layouts of the city. In the case of this one, of course, the Kims, was it Kim Jong Il? Actually wrote a treatise. I'm not saying that right. Called On Architecture. He described what he wanted. Now this looks like something. This almost looks like the Forbidden City in Beijing. But just going through this, it's very interesting to see. Right? Oh, it's propaganda. Now, that's always the funny things you have. You see like this very Soviet style. It's kind of quaint seeing this. Okay, where in the West do you have any of these left? You probably have the Red Army Monument in Berlin. Okay. If you're so anti-Russian now, I think you should get rid of that Red Army Monument in Berlin. What do you say? Why not? I would push that greatly. Destroy that thing. Tear that thing down. Okay, in Berlin. But here, it makes sense. Okay. It's just the heroic thing you see it. I mean, it's in a way on steroids that you don't even see it in like a Union fucking fetishist Civil War monument up north, like a Grand Army Plaza or whatever. But in the architecture right here, now this is like really strange. This is the brutalist architecture, right? Concrete, like Morgoth goes over that in Newcastle, where you see the the brutalist architecture that really got pushed in the poor areas, if you noticed, in England. The concrete, the idea of it. Now, I told you that I like classical architecture. I like all kinds of architecture. I like brutalism. Okay? Brutalism yes, it looks dehumanizing. It's ugly. It's evil. It's like Lovecraftian entities trapped in a revolutionary and very short-lived medium called concrete. This stuff breaks apart, as you're seeing in America. But the funny thing here is, you see, look at everything. Everything is painted. Who had mentioned that? If you ever listen to Jonathan Bowden talk about the brutalist architecture, he always mentions that the one thing in England that they didn't do, in the Soviet Union that they didn't do, in Eastern Europe, the Eastern Bloc, they didn't do. It was supposed to be painted. And it's ironic that you only have seen this in North Korea. Okay. You got, oh, cool. So we'll flip through there. You got this cool thing. This is just this is a hotel. Can you imagine being in that? Very cool. Now, I could go through all this. I like some things better. I like modernism. Okay, it doesn't mean I only like modernism. I like classical architecture. I would have loved to. I would only have wished I could have seen a city somewhere else, somewhere in the middle of Europe that has survived and thrived. To see the architecture in the cities that was planned by another great leader of people, okay, which we will never know. But there you go. It's painted all the different colors. So you got this stuff here. Now you sort of see this architecture. You can see this in America. You can see this in Florida. You can see it in wherever. It has a place. I know. I mean, the glass boxes that are going up that have changed the Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens skylines, and the Flushing skyline, by the way. I mean, this is not too far removed from some of the early ideas, the early works of course, Franklin Lloyd Wright. Okay, which I'll go over at one point. But yeah, it's just interesting, the photos here. The guys taking the photos, an Italian and either a Croatian or a Serbian, one of those Itchik names. Yes, they were followed greatly. They were escorted. They were denied things at the last minute, almost like a psyop. Taking pictures, denied visiting things. The North Koreans seem to do that. You don't know if they're leaning on people or if they're really that autistic. But yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for the modernist architecture, and I'm gonna say something else. Okay, when you see this, okay, these ones in particular, when you see stuff like this, or even these things, okay, there's another architectural school. It never was realized because the ideas are there, but it was never being able to realize for a number of historical reasons. But if you ever look at the futurists, right, the Italian, modernists, the futurists, many who helped inspire the future fascist parties. You see some of the architects they had, their designs, their ideas looked very much like this, very futuristic. And unfortunately, they were never really realized. And look at this. This is cool. You got the Korean woman with those dresses that come up to like the middle of their chests. Oh, heroic. They're heroic, right? Amazing. Even the Civil War stuff, Gettysburg maybe more than average, but most of the Civil War stuff was it was more somber. It was about reconciliation. Right? You know that how that's worked out lately. But here, to see this kind of stuff, but in the now, and there's the Koreans, so the hammer, the sickle, and the calligraphy brush. So the Asian thing is added to the worker and the farmer. That's cool too. That's an ice skating rink. Look at that. I don't want to. Apparently, Kim Jong. We got more of this. This is, like I said, this reminds me of a lot of the futurist sketches. I mean, that looks really cool. I like that. I like I said, I like modernism as well. I like all different. I know the great man that I had mentioned before. His architecture ideas, he would have hated this, but there's a place for everything. Anyway, let's don't want to make this too long. Since 2012, since Kim Jong-un has come in, you've had even more kind of a period of Pyongyang, which means flat plain or flat land. Okay, the period of intense transformation. So now you get stuff like this. Okay, like I said, this looks like one of the futurist architects. I forgot his name. He died in the war, in the military, fighting probably in the Alps. Look at that. To say that's not impressive, even if it's not classical, I can't, I can't understand. All right, so we'll end it out here. I mean, some of this stuff looks like a JFK Airport from the 70s as well. No, but like this, like there is. Listen, you don't in New York and all these other places. These glass boxes, they don't even have the character of these things. They just don't. They really don't. And you argue, oh, these are all empty. These are all for show. Most of these people are starving. Maybe they are. I don't know. Who told you that? The same people that told you a lot of other things. So. Anyway, they'll wrap it up. Interesting book. I like how they have all the floor plans, right? The Potang Gate, right? I think that's actually the old. I remember the Korean dynasty. That one dynasty lasted a long time. It was like 1,000 years. So we got all the floor plans. Well, these are always fascinating to me. From what I remember, I knew someone that was an architect student. It was very rough. And Arkham Reporter knows someone who's an architect student too. Sleep is a luxury in that thing, which is funny because, to be an architect, an architecture is so important. It literally is like where the creative imagination meets with the reality of human habitation. So it's as artistic, but it's like art you live in. I don't know. I guess I'm going all here. And it actually ended here with a description of life in North Korea. The Juchism, right? The Juch Tower. As dusk comes, they light it so that Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il will be illuminated through the night. Vehicles slow down as a sign of respect. That's right. You better. Cause trouble over there. You're not gonna see videos of their women getting messed with like in Europe or America or Australia. You're not gonna have any of that over there if these people want to like be breathing, see? And you can argue, well, they're a homogeneous society. Yeah. Too. What is it? Before I go. I love how they describe it. I love the names for the wars, okay, that we remember, right? The Korean War, right? The victorious fatherland, that's right. Liberation War, the fatherland, right? And of course, the original Pyongyang was fucking annihilated in a bombing campaign. Who did that? The people that bombed the hell out of everybody just 5 years earlier, right? So where's my sympathies lies? I'm listen. All right, enough. I've had a drink or two. So. And like I said, the whole idea was right. His father, Kim Jong-un's father, laid out the principles for building the new nation in his 160-page treatise on architecture. Okay, so and you got the heroic here. So I know you're probably rolling your eyes. Oh, you're making. What is this? I'll go over this real quick. Right, Pyongyang was flattened by U.S. bombing. Right, the Soviet-trained architects left a legacy, foreign influence. Okay, I like this. The sycophants, dogmatists, and anti-party counter-revolutionary elements that had wormed their way into the capital construction sector adopted foreign designs, mechanically asserting their erroneous views, ignoring the country's economic situation, turning a deaf ear to the people's aspirations and demands. The reconstruction efforts left a city of European-style buildings, which did not accord our people's customs and sentiments. oh, these communists, these socialists, these nationalists. Let me leave it on that. Later.